Good morning, everyone. You are welcome to this class, which is uh, the SQL class. SQL stand for that is SQL stand for Structural Query Language. Is the language of the database, and to be able to run SQL command, we need the server SQL server. This SQL server is going to serve as our database management system. So, and because of that, we need to download MySQL server. So now go to your your browser. I'm using Google Chrome, and then at the URL type this https:/dev.mysql.com/download/installer and hit enter. So when you hit enter, make sure you are connected to the internet anyway. And once you are connected to the internet, it takes you to this interface. Then by default, it selects the version and then the Windows. If you are for other Windows, okay, this is just for Microsoft Windows Direct. And then you have to look at the Windows X MSI installer. So I select that one now. Let me select the first one. This is another one. So this one is lighter. Okay, let's take this first one. Then once you click that, it takes you to this page saying login, sign up. We don't want to do that now, so we say no, thanks. So once you are there, make sure you are connected to the internet. Then go to your download. It has already downloaded the installer. Okay, so uh, go back to it. Go back to the installer and double click and run. So yes, yes. So I go to for full next execute. So you have to wait for it to install the entire module since you selected full. Now I decided if probably you want some selected uh, products, maybe you want the MySQL server, the MySQL workbench, you can select that. But just decided to go for full so that it will install the entire thing in case I need any of them in the nearest future. Okay, so you have to be patient and ensure that this is installed successfully. Okay, so now sometimes you know some of the errors that some people encounter while installing this software is the what they call Microsoft Visual Studio code. And because if this Microsoft Visual Studio code is not installed, you might not be able to run the MySQL server successfully. And so while you are installing it, it will pop up a message telling you that you should install Microsoft Visual Studio Visual Studio Code 2019 version, and you can check your control panel to know whether you have it on your system. So you see, if you have it on your system, look at it. You will see, I have it installed on my own system. So it will. By the time I go to my control panel, go to program, uninstall program, you will be able to see it whether you have it installed or not. Look at it. This is the Microsoft Visual C++ 2015 to 2022, I downloaded the recent version for my own system. So if you don't have this on your system, just go to this website, go to this website, and then type Microsoft Visual Studio Code 2019, and it will bring you to this page. Then to download it, click on latest support visual redistributable download. When you click on that, make sure you click on that, and when you click on that, go down, go down, go down, go down, and then you are going to see latest supported version. I am going for 64-bit. In case you have this issue, that is why I'm walking you through this process. Look at it, I've downloaded it. Go to my download, I have it already. This is VC underscore redistribute x64. And once you download it, you just double click to run it, to run it. But I have it installed on my system, so I cannot agree. So you just agree and make sure that you install it on your drive. Is that okay? So I'll close out of this now. Yes, because I have it installed on my system. Okay, so still go back to this. This is still loading. Are you with me now? Now, while this is loading, I want to go further in order to waste this time. That our class, which has to do with how do we manage database, how do we uh, query our database, there are still some concept that you need to understand, and those concepts is what I want to explain now. So I will explain you and walk you through on introduction to database and SQL with mysql data types. Okay, now while we wait for our server to be ready, because that is just all what you need to do to install your MySQL server. Now, what is a database? You might be wondering, what is a database? So, here I say a database is an organized collection of data stored electronically. Now, you have to think of it like a digital filing cabinet where information is kept in tables, okay? In your office, some offices you have what you call digital filing cabinet. Okay, so that is a typical example of a database. Now, for example, a school database can store data about students, teachers, courses, and grades. Okay, now you have heard about database. Database does not just come into existence like that. It's being managed and organized by what we call database management system, that is DBMS. And we say that a DBMS is a software that allows us to create, store, update, and manage data in a database. Do you get this? Something like it's a software. Do you get it? And typical examples of these, what do you call it, DBMS are your MySQL, which is what we are installing right away, and we have the PostgreSQL, the Oracle, the SQL Server, and even Microsoft Access. They are all database management system that helps you to create your database, organize your file in a structured format. Are you with me? So, for instance, if the database is your house, then the DBMS, I'm just giving you a typical analogy now, that if database is your house, then the DBMS is the housekeeper. Do you get? So the DBMS is the housekeeper that organizes and manages it. That is just the typical illustration of what database is all about. Then you should also be able to differentiate what we between relational and non-relational databases. There are some databases that are relational and some are not relational. So when you talk about relational database, you are now saying that your the database stores data, that is, data are stored in tables, and tables involve rows and columns. Do you get the something now? So we use SQL, or which is called, some call it SQL, to as a structured language to be able to interact with all these databases. Tables are connected using primary keys and foreign keys. Now, uh, on the other hand, non-relational database store data in flexible formats. They are not in tabular format. So it does not always use tables. And this type of non-relational database as best suitable for unstructured or big data. You get? And a very typical example of non-relational database is MongoDB. You okay? That is a typical example of a non-relational database. But in this class, we are going to be working with relational database. Okay? Now, there are some key database concepts that you need to know with this class, okay, so that it will not be strange to you while we flow alongside with this class. The first thing I want to talk about is table. What is a table? A table is store data in form of rows and column, like your Excel worksheet or Excel workbook. So you can see now, this is a typical example of a table. This table has student ID, the name, and the age. Okay, then this table has what we call records. Records are in row format. That is like, we have first record, Alice age, the age is 20. So this is row now. So number one information is row based. While we also have columns. Another what do you call it? Another word for record is row. Mhm. Another word for record is row. Then we also have column. A column defines the type of data stored. So like student ID, name and age, they are column. They are also called features. Then we talk about the concept of primary key. A primary key is a column that uniquely identifies each record in the table. You know, a foreign key links one table to another using the primary key. So I will use this sample data to explain what I meant by foreign key and primary key. Now, if you look at this is customer table. This customer table has customer ID, it has name and city. And this is the orders table. We have order ID, customer ID, and product ID. You can see that in customer table, the primary key is customer ID. In a order table, the primary key is order ID. Are you getting it now? Please, I want you to know the difference, because this order ID uniquely identifies this order table. Then this customer ID uniquely identifies the customer table. But here you can see that we have customer ID and customer ID in the orders table. So these two columns that are the same, that can be used to reference another table, is the foreign key. So that means this customer table serve as the parent table, and the other table serve as the child table. So if you want to link this customer table with the sorry if order table with the customer table, you have to use this common name, which is customer ID and customer ID, as the foreign key to be able to merge and reference the two tables together. Do you understand it? Good. So we say that customer ID in orders table, are you with me? We say that the customer ID in orders is a foreign key. It links back to customers. This ensure every order belongs to a valid customer. Because if you don't use this unique constraint and relationship, then you will not be able to do what? To ensure that order belongs to a valid customer. Are you following? Are you following what I'm talking about? Great, great, nice one. Now, look at what are the features of a database. Why, when you keep your database, you need to consider these features. One, database store large amount of data efficiently. Database avoid duplication, and that is the essence of your primary key. Then it also provides security and control access. Database help you to connect related data using relationship. Now, database support fast searching, updating, and reporting. That is the essence of our database. Now, what we want to talk about some SQL basis, and I told you that SQL or SQL stand for Structured Query Language. Now, SQL is a language used to work with database. Are you with me? And then this is how we can create what we call a simple table. you know this is using the keyword create table students. Then we have student ID. This is an integer and is a primary key. We have a name, varchar, saying that okay, the data type here is varchar and the age is going to be an integer. This is how we can also insert data into the database. We can insert, these operations, we call it CRUD. That is create, you read, you update and delete. So this is how we can create using the C part. We can create table, we can create database, and we can also insert, that is read. Can read into the data, that is we read into students. This student is our table and we are entering these values. We can that is, look at it now. These values stand for what we call the unique number, that is the student ID. Then we have Alice for name, and name is text. That is when we are using varchar, and we say 20 stand for each, and we say it should be an integer. Of course, you know that integers are whole numbers. Okay. Then I told you, you can also, we can read. When you read, okay, reading is selecting. That is how do we to extract data from the data set. So this is how we can read from our table. We have already created a table, so we want to grab from student. That is where we use select star from student. That means select all. Okay. You get the something. Now we will this is just like an introductory class now. All these are what we are going to be doing right in this class. Then you can update. That is the U part of your CRUD operation. You can operate. We have our student table, set age. So instead of age that was 20 before, we now want to set the age to be 21. And where the student ID is equals to 1. That is record number 1. And we can delete from students where student ID is equals to 2. Great, 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 great. Those are some of the operations that we are going to be performing on our stuff, our database. Okay. Then I want to also talk about MySQL data types. Okay, so that you'll be familiar with the different data type. Right? So when creating tables, you must choose the right data type. If you don't choose the right data type, then you are going to have issue with your database and tables. So the common ones, we have the what you call string data types. Okay, and the string data type are text data type. Now we use text and characters. Used for text and character. So some of the string data type are the varchar, the char, the varchar, the text. Now, the only difference between all of these, they are all standing for text, but they have some little variations. Like if I should use char, it means fixed length. Always uses n spaces. Now, take note of this. Why we say it uses fixed uses n spaces. For instance, I have car and I say I pass in five. That means I want 5 characters. Once you enter 3 characters, this type of data type will it will create two blank extra spaces for your data insertion, meaning that the remaining, since you specify five, is going to create extra five spaces, because this char is for fixed length text. So it's going to add another extra two spaces to make it five. But look at varchar. Varchar does not do that. If you specify five and you enter three, it will still leave, it will not create any additional space. Do you get it? That is the difference. So most especially if you want to, you maybe like you want to enter so much, you probably at the end of the day you might want to enter figure and text. It's better you use varchar. Then text is for long large text, maybe like articles, comments and all the rest. You use long text. I hope you are following, guys. So that's good. Then another data type is enum. This enum is for what you call selection. Maybe you have a list that you want to make choices. Enum is usually for choices. For instance, you can say enum small, medium, large, so that it gives room for your user to select, to make choice. Okay, I want to go for a small size, maybe like t-shirt, like maybe shirt or whatever, or maybe gadget that has different categories or different sizes. So this will help you, enum will help you to do that. Then you can do set. So enum what do you call it, another format of enum is the set. That is if you have multiple values from a list that you want to select at once. But this one, the enum only allow you to make one selection, but set will make multiple selections. Is that okay? So if I hope you are following. I hope you are getting it. So another one is the numeric type. The numeric data type, that is when you are working with digits. So we can have tiny integer, very small integers between minus 128 to 127. Then we have integer normal integers. Okay, then we have big int, very large integers. These are just variation of integers. Then another data type that we can come across is what? The decimal. Now exact decimal. Anytime you are working with money, use this decimal. Exact decimal. Then you can have float or double. These float are usually good for what we call scientific values, like 3.144, use it. These are not, you see, this float or double, though they are decimal, but they are not exact. This one now, for instance, when I say decimal 5.2, I specify the exact decimal point. But for float and double, no exact decimal point. Do you get the difference? Then we have date and time data types. You use this one to store date and time. Now we have variation. We have date. Date is for only date, time only for time. But if it is date time, it's both date plus time. That is, you have the date and the time. Then we have another form of date time, which is also timestamp. Now the timestamp is time at current, real at current time. Timestamp like daytime, but auto track current time is current time, that is timestamp. Then we have year, the store only year, you see now. So now let's give a quick summary of this class now. Car versus varchar. Use car for fixed size like country code USA. Use varchar for variable size. Then integer versus decimal versus float. Use int for whole numbers. Use decimal for money, exact values. Use float or double for scientific values. Then use date for birthday. Use date time for event. Use timestamp for logs. That is auto update. Thank you. And then our next class is interacting with our database, working with how to select data, how to create table, how to update our table, and all the rest. That's what we are going to do next time. Thank you. Then, if you go back, you can see that this thing is still downloading. It takes time. So just be patient and ensure that you install this MySQL. God bless you for this class. So if you have any question, you can ask your question. Okay? Thank you.